So crypto right now, decent, up 2%. Overall, though, take a look at this on the stock side, share this with you. We've got the Dow down 363, NASDAQ up 24. And I think that the mantra, the scenario that we see playing out is uncertainty and unease. And the stock market has just been decimated at the end of last week, heading into this week, continue to see things down. Ironically, we've got a good CPI report, Consumer Price Index Inflation report, that came in cooler than expected. So it was below expectations. That is good. I think that's part of the reason that crypto continues to be up a little bit. But I want to talk about the larger scenario, the larger impact points that are out there, and the things that are impacting you and your crypto right now in the short term, and then kind of how it looks in the long term. Short term is maybe now, week, 2 weeks, a month or so. Long term is kind of moving towards 6 months to a year, things of that nature. Because look, here's what we're going to have play out. And I was talking to some very, very smart people yesterday who are more on the traditional finance side. Had a discussion with them around tariffs, inflation, and things of that nature. And are we going to get any more rate cuts from the Federal Reserve? You know, we're possibly going to get two. We have a May and a June scenario. And the CPI report helps because ultimately this all comes back to the cost to live on a day-to-day basis, and the impact of that and the uncertainty of that in our day-to-day lives, kind of in that bigger financial market, and bringing that back to crypto, right? So remember that crypto is viewed as a, quote, risky asset, and more so than, say, stocks. And thus it tends to be more volatile. We know that. We've talked about this in previous videos, excuse me. And so if you look at what's playing out, and the uncertainty is out there. So tariffs, it's a trade war going on. It's a negotiation war going on between Trump and the powers that be in Europe, in Canada, Mexico, China, you name it. It's all playing out there. And so, but the key word there is uncertainty. The key word there is uncertainty around what is tomorrow, next week, next month going to be. And these individuals I was talking about are very acutely aware and getting access to different reports and different analytic data sets and things of that nature. They basically said, look, the tariff wars and kind of the uncertainty is probably at least a year going from now for a year. Now, that's not a direct impact on crypto per se. It's a direct impact point on kind of the larger financial market, and like you see here on the screen, right? With the Dow being down like it has been, being impacted and all that kind of stuff. But it's that uncertainty that the tariff trade wars are bringing into. Now, whether you like Trump or not, the truth of the matter is our tariffs are at an all-time low, and these other countries are tariffing us. And so there is a need to raise the tariffs, partly to raise the tariffs to try to help pay for the government's budget and all that kind of stuff. Again, not a political video, right? But that's all part of it, okay? It's all tied together. But what I really care about is the uncertainty that it's creating in the mind of the average person who's wanting to invest in crypto, who's wanting to either be a new investor or stay invested or invest more, right? There's three scenarios there. And ultimately that uncertainty is unsettling a vast majority, a large percentage of crypto investors. And I think that's what I meant by the title of the video. Crypto is being impacted by bigger issues. It's being impacted by all of these financial issues I've been talking about. Obviously, we have global conflicts, the Russia-Ukraine war, what's going to happen there or not, the conflicts in the Middle East. All of that is creating uncertainty. And when you have uncertainty in a financial market, people's reaction tends to be, I'm going to wait. I'm going to pull back. I am going to maybe pair some of my crypto, in this case that I am in profit in, go back to a stablecoin position, i.e. a cash position, and wait it out. On that note, stablecoin dominance is at its all-time high compared to market cap. We've never really seen any numbers like this. What does that mean? There's hundreds, well, there's lots of money, billions in stablecoin sitting on the sidelines, waiting. It's waiting for something. And that's really the key. Is I don't really know if anybody knows right now what that galvanizing or that catalyst will be, what that positive catalyst will be. We thought it would be crypto reserves, which was last week. We got pretty much a nothing burger there, if you will. Not my term. I stole that from somewhere. I kept saying that nothing burger. This news is a nothing burger. You know, that really wasn't an event. And it wasn't something that we thought we would get, you know, Bitcoin added into the U.S. Strategic Reserve. Now there's a new bill that's been introduced for the government to acquire 1 million Bitcoin over a 20-year period, and they can't sell it for 20 years and all this kind of stuff. It's just a brand new bill that's been introduced. I tweeted it yesterday. There's a link in my description below if you want to go check out my Twitter page, my X account. But look, I think ultimately go back to something I said, that these traditional finance people that I was talking to were talking about kind of the larger financial market, right? And they were talking about it in the context of like, how long are we going to be in this scenario? And their stance was there's going to be uncertainty because of the trade wars, because of the economic policies that Trump is trying to do to alleviate and undo decades worth of issues. And I'm not just saying Biden or all of it. It's Republican and Democrat, you know, previous presidencies, and we're trying to kind of come out of some things. We're trying to recover still from COVID, and all of that stuff is still here. The CPI report coming in cooler than expected was good. That's good news. But is it enough to alleviate the inflation issues? No, of course not. Right. And Trump with his tariffs and trade war scenario, trying to get United States a better deal on tariffs on inbound revenue, ultimately, yes, impacts people. And I'm not minimizing that. It impacts the price of a lot of things in our lives, right? And so it's just all of this uncertainty and all of this turmoil, turbulence, whatever word you want to use, that is there, that's going to continue to impact crypto. It's going to continue to impact it. We will see crypto, I think, go up, you know, occasionally, things of that nature. But I think we're all kind of in this treading water scenario, right, for the short term, and maybe even for 6 months plus. You know, I think that we really don't know. And I think that's the key. We really don't know, because anybody who says they do, they're guessing. We don't. We're all working on the same data points, what we have now, and we're all making forward-looking statements and trying to understand what will be out there. I think a lot of hopes were pinned on you know, the reserve and what would happen there. That turned out to be nothing. I think beyond that, we're looking at regulation, which that's going to take process and time. We're looking at what does the SEC do about like the Ripple case. That's going to take a little bit of time because of the judgment. There's all these factors there that are just kind of convoluting the issue. And ultimately underneath all of it is unease and uncertainty in the minds of everybody walking around on a day-to-day basis, because we simply don't know what tomorrow is going to bring on that larger financial Wall Street and financial macro, you know, picture, you know, in the stability of our lives and all of those kind of things. You know, and that's where we're at right now. So thanks for giving me a few minutes. I appreciate you. And I'll be back with more as we continue to see how things develop. See you. Bye.